Hello children, today we are going to learn the lesson Heredity from 10th class biology. Apart from the tremendous diversity in organisms, we see similarities as well. The process of acquiring characters or traits from parents is called heredity. The process in which traits are passed from one generation to another generation is called inheritance. Evolution is the process of acquiring changes. Most life forms that we see today had variations that accumulated over the years to allow the organisms possessing them to survive. Variations. If we observe parents and their children, there will be some similar features in the offsprings of parents. At the same time, we find differences between parents and offsprings in their features. These differences are an example of variations. Let's take roses as another example. We observe number of varieties in them, but you can still find some characters similar to all plants. Thus, rose plants have similar physical features. At the same time, they have differences in characters like flower color, number of petals, leaf size, stem, spines, etc. These differences in features are variations. Children, observe your friends of your class and find out differences in features like color of skin, ear lobes, forehead, chin, eyes, and any other features. We find more variations in sexually produced offsprings like human beings and higher plants. What is the importance of variations? How are variations useful for an organism? Variations are present in nature among all communities of organisms. These would perhaps help a certain group in a community when conditions would be unfavorable for other groups. During the early 19th century, a lot of work was done by several scientists. Some of these studies shall help us to understand how variations occur. In about 1857, Gregor John Mendel started working on the problem how variations were passed on from one generation to other. He worked for over 7 years, after which he presented conclusion from his experimental data in a form of a detailed paper. He had worked on nearly 10,000 pea plants of 34 different varieties. Mendel noted that they differed from one another in many ways. Now let's observe the list of characters that Mendel had chosen consisted of 7 such distinguishing forms. To the difference in the form of ripe seeds, these are either round and deeply wrinkled. To the difference in the color of the seed albumin, the albumin of the ripe seeds is either yellow or green. To the difference in the color of the seed coat, this either white or it is grey. To the difference in the color of the unripe pods, they are either light to dark green or yellow. To the difference in the form of the ripe pods, these are either simply inflated or they are deeply constricted. To the difference in the position of the flowers, they are either axial, that is distributed along the main stem, or they are terminal, that is bunched at the top of the stem. To the difference in the length of the stem is either tall or dwarf. Mendel hypothesized that characters were carried as traits and organisms always carried a pair of factors for a character. He also hypothesized the distinguishing traits of the same characters were present in the population of an organism. He assumed that the traits shown by the pea plants must be in the seeds that produced them. The seeds must have obtained these traits from the parent plants.